I'm Doyle Wille, and today we're making a delicious herb chicken stroganoff using Kraft Philadelphia Italian cheese and herb cooking cream. This takes all the work out of this, you guys. I've been making this recipe for some time. I started making it probably 30 years ago. But I found using these new Kraft cooking creams that I can cut the time in half because this contains all these great herbs that I was already making my stroganoff with. So let's get started. First, I'm going to dice up some green onions. We're going to dice 3/4 of a cup. Now you might notice I'm tapping these onions so that the heads are up. That's because I just want to take these ends off, and I'm just going to throw those away. Now what I'm going to do is tap them the other way so that all these ends are together and I can get even cuts all the way down. And I'm just going to thin slice these because these are going to become the base of our sauce with our mushrooms. I've sliced all the way down into the whites and I'm just going to throw those roots away. Now I'm going to give these a quick little toss here on this butcher board. You might note that I've pulled out an extra butchered board this time. That's because we're going to be cutting chicken, and normally I cut on my wood surface, but with chicken I like to keep it a little bit cleaner. I like to be able to Clorox this board after I'm done. So I'm going to put about half a cup of onions in this bowl because we're going to take it to the stove, and I'm going to reserve 1/4 of a cup of onions for our garnish. Okay, next, you might notice that I have a paper towel here. I've got a little bowl of water here for the purpose of demonstration. I normally do this over at the sink. But I notice a lot of people throw mushrooms into a sink of water or a bowl of water to wash them off. But the secret to mushrooms is these are a sponge. They will soak up all the water, and it will take forever to cook the mushrooms, and you'll get a lot of liquid, and it removes all the flavor. So the easier way is to just wet a paper towel and just wash them off that way and put them in a nearby bowl. So I'll continue washing these for a minute. See, it just gets all the goopus off and it doesn't soak in all the water. Now I picked up my chicken this morning from my local market, but our chicken comes from a big warehouse, so it comes in kind of frozen, which is great because it's much easier to cut the chicken when it is slightly frozen still. But I did wash and pat it dry because chicken has some awful bacteria. Now see how easy that slices when it's frozen like that? We're going to dredge this chicken. I've got half a cup of white all-purpose flour here. I'm just going to throw it into a bag. I found after all these years that it's easiest just to shake it up in a bag. I've got a teaspoon of salt here. I like using kosher salt. I find it brings up the flavor really nice. And I've got a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Now what I'll do is just shake that up a little bit to get it all mixed up. And we're just going to dredge our pieces of chicken. Okay, now as I add this chicken to this flour, I kind of separate it and just kind of shake it. You can see I'm just shaking it into the bag so that we get them all broken up so that they coat really evenly. That way you can just shake them around in there and you've got your mess self-contained. I'm going to put in 1/4 of a cup of butter and melt it. I've got this kind of heavy skillet going over a medium to high heat. Now I usually do this in my electric skillet, but we've lost the cord to it, my 40-year-old electric skillet. So I'm going with my next favorite big pan, which is this big old skillet I've used in several hunting camps. I've got half a cup of that sliced green onion. I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this green onion all into that butter. I'm going to go ahead and add in that pound of sliced mushrooms. We're going to cook this until it gets kind of limp. Now, this is a great old recipe. I am loving these Kraft Philadelphia cooking creams because normally I would have sauteed some garlic, I would have put thyme in with my flour and cooked my chicken up, but this saves me all that time. These are such great, robust flavors. They're chef-inspired. They make anybody into an instant chef. And so I've cut several steps out. I love it. It makes it easy, and it's so flavorful. I love layers of flavor. And this Kraft Philadelphia Italian cheese and herb is just killer. And see, I didn't have cheese in my original stroganoff, so I've got the additional cheesy flavor in this. Chicken. So we're going to put in 1/4 cup of butter. I've laid out this chicken. I've got it all kind of in a single layer so everything cooks evenly in here. And it's almost ready to flip. You can kind of see the pink and the blood rising on the top. I'm just about to go ahead and flip this over. Oh, and see, they're getting nice and golden brown. So, and that's the way you want them. And when we put in this Kraft Philadelphia cooking cream, it's awesome. I love these new containers too because they've got little recipe books on top of them. This just came into our store, so I'm eager to check out these recipes. But meanwhile, I'll just keep making up cool recipes with it. Okay, this chicken is all done. Look at how nice and golden brown that is. See, we've got it all golden brown. It's starting to stick just a little. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out to a plate. And I'm going to go ahead and add back in my mushrooms and my green onions. And see, they're almost all ready to go. And see, we've got that chicken on the bottom of that pan. What we're going to do is deglaze this pan and make a nice broth by pouring in 3/4 cup of dry white wine. Hear that sizzle? I'm pouring it mainly over those really stuffed parts so we can get all that good chicken goodness off of the bottom of there, and that'll lend to our broth and make this a really good stroganoff. The wine has evaporated. We've got only 1/4 of it left, and you can see it's just barely sizzling. So we're going to go ahead and add in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. It just gives it a really good flavor. I just love how this recipe has developed over the years. And now when you put in the cooking cream, it's killer because it's got that extra cheesy flavor too. Now I've got 1 tablespoon of beef base. You can use any kind. I just used one that comes in a jar that I kind of like, that's more liquidy, and it mixes in very easily. And then I've got 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. We'll just go ahead and mix this in to that wine. See how easily it blends? Just like that. Oh, it's smelling so good, you guys. Now what we're going to do is add in 3 cups of sour cream. Now we'll just stir this all in and melt it all together, just like that. So we've got that sour cream all integrated in. Now we're going to add off our finishing touch that gives this all the flavor. It's got the garlic, it's got the thyme, it's got all these great Italian herbs that just pep this right up. And I love this cooking cream because, see, it's spoonable. But in this case, it's spatulable. And look at how beautifully that cream just stirs right in. Look at that. That's just beautiful. So now our sauce is all done. We're just going to let it heat up here a little bit. We're going to go ahead and add in our chicken right now. So it heats back up. And look, doesn't that look great? It's herby and creamy and so rich looking. Look at that. Okay, I've made up a beautiful plate. Now, we've still got that 1/4 cup of sliced green onion. I'm just going to take about a tablespoon and put that over the top so it makes it all beautiful. Now, isn't that a beautiful plate? It looks so rich. I actually did a little quality control, and this is awesome. It's way better than what I've ever made before. So let's just take a nice tiny bite here. The Kraft Philadelphia cooking cream. This Italian cheese and herb is so good. I love eating this on crackers. I love Philadelphia. It's like, when I hear Philadelphia or Kraft, I think home and comfort food. So I am thrilled. You're going to love this. So thank you for coming to my kitchen. I hope you'll go out and buy this. These are so easy. They make your life easy. They make you into an instant chef with these robust flavors. And I think you're going to love this 20-minute little dish. So until next time, go spread a little love to the hungry. And if you can't feed 100 people, feed just one.